In the vast expanse of space, aboard the grand starship Velox, something extraordinary defied all boundary. Rick, a human adventurer, encounters a mysterious alien named Iara, gifted with a unique ability to transform emotions into art. Yet, she hides her true identity from the ship's passenger. Together, they embark on a journey toward a destiny that could unite them in a breathtaking romance, or destroy them in devastating ways. In a galaxy where love between different beings is forbidden, their bond becomes the spark of a battle that could change the universe forever.
In the year 2315, the vastness of the universe had become a grand stage for human and alien interactions. Humanity did not content itself with remaining confined to its small blue planet. Instead, its explorers crossed galaxies, colonizing new worlds and establishing new cultures. However, this expansion brought forth the need for strict rules, and so the Interstellar Friendship Act emerged. This legislation imposed severe barriers, prohibiting romantic unions between different races. A concept that, in past times, might have been seen as primitive and aggressive, was now viewed as a necessity to maintain peace among the diverse species inhabiting the galaxy. Aboard the starship Velox, a modern and luxurious vessel slicing through space like an arrow, Iara, an alien artist of the Lyran species, lived a life filled with vibrant colors, symbolism, and unparalleled creativity. The Lyran were known for their ability to transform emotions into art, using all the senses to create immersive experiences. But Iara also bore an immense weight in her heart, for she knew that to explore these emotions deeply, she had to hide her true identity. With exotic beauty and distinctive features that set her apart from humans, she went unnoticed among the ship's passengers, disguised in an outfit that diluted her race's characteristics. Rick, on the other hand, could be called an ordinary guy, but with a spirit of adventure that stood out among the travelers of the Velox. He was captivating in his simplicity, full of curiosity and a desire to explore the unknown. His human appearance mixed with an almost childlike bravado made him an enchanting figure, attracting attention wherever he went. Unfortunately, the walls of the Interstellar Friendship Act intensified his longing while making it impossible. How could a human think of loving an alien? Iara felt Rick's magnetism, even without knowing how to approach him. Her art was a way to connect, but her hesitation and fear of rejection held her back from revealing herself. One night, as the Velox passed through a radiant nebula, Iara decided it was time to manifest her feelings. With her skill, she began to paint a magical mural on the wall of the ship's main hull, a mural that captured the essence of love, friendship, and unity. It was an attempt to show, even indirectly, that the barriers separating them were nothing more than illusions. As the art flourished around her, Rick couldn't help but draw closer. He was mesmerized by the beauty of that work and the aura emanating from Iara. She had a unique ability to capture not just the image but the emotions as well. "I am just an artist trying to bring light to the darkness," she thought. But he didn't see her as just that. He saw a spirit, a connection that defied norms. Thus, a conversation began between the two, a blend of curiosity and discovery of new worlds. As the interaction progressed, Rick began to marvel at Iara's stories about her culture, traditions, and people. Iara spoke of music that conveyed different feelings, dances that told tales of ancestors, and beliefs that challenged the limits of reality. For Rick, each word seemed to open a new galaxy, a new space to explore. His focused attention and sparkling eyes showed that, no matter her origins, Iara was not just an alien, she was a bridge to the unexplored. What began as friendship slowly molded into something deeper. As the days passed on the Velox, and the stars danced outside the ship, Rick and Iara formed an unbreakable bond. They shared laughter, dreams, and eventually an urge that challenged any imposed norm. However, they knew that this relationship was moving into risky territory, and the weight of the Interstellar Friendship Act was never far away. As Rick and Iara stood together, surrounded by the vivid colors of her art and the memories of their journey, they felt the weight of their love and the forces that sought to tear them apart. And now, a question for you, starbound dreamer. If love were forbidden in your world, would you risk everything to fight for it? Or would you find another way to express your heart? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your answer could inspire someone else to imagine a brighter, freer galaxy. Rick tightened his grip on Iara's hand. "We've come this far and we won't stop now," he said, his voice steady with determination. The battle might have cost them much, but their love was proof that no force in the universe could truly shatter the bonds that connect hearts. Everything changed when a group of intergalactic explorers made a discovery that could alter the course of history. They had found an ancient artifact that promised to unite galaxies, a powerful item that could erase the boundaries established by the Interstellar Friendship Act. For many worlds, the prospect of a new beginning, where differences were celebrated and barriers broken, was tempting. However, for the oppressors and defenders of interstellar justice, this discovery represented a threat. With that, Iara and Rick found themselves at the center of an intergalactic storm. Their relationship, which once seemed a safe and welcoming space, was now the subject of unsettling glances. Oppressive governments began to watch the Velox, sending agents to monitor the passengers and apprehend anyone who could threaten their institutions. Iara, with her alien origins, became a more evident target, and a target to be captured. With the pressure rising, Rick and Iara decided they needed to unite and fight to protect what they had cultivated. The battle that followed was epic. In a confrontation between the ideals of freedom and oppression, Rick and Iara showed the strength of love in the face of prejudice. With the help of other allies from the Velox, they formed a resistance that challenged the established tyranny, creating a movement that promised to redefine what it meant to be a family among the stars. The truth that love could overcome the barrier of diversity became not just a banner, but a rallying cry. However, at the climax of the battle, the inevitable happened. Iara was captured by an extremist faction opposing her relationship with Rick. Amid the chaos, she was taken away from the battle and brought to an unknown location while Rick watched helplessly. The sharp pain of loss shook him deeply, but at the same time, it ignited a fire within him. Iara was meant to be free and express her love, and he would not leave her behind. With a heavy but determined heart, Rick began to devise a rescue plan. He knew he couldn't fight alone. He needed to form an alliance, a resistance that would not only fight for Iara but for the very right of all species to love freely. Thus, he was willing to go beyond, to create strategies that would lead him to the heart of the faction that held Iara. Meanwhile, Iara's determination never wavered. Even in captivity, she used her art as a form of resistance, capturing her essence and the love she shared with Rick temporarily. The act of creating something beautiful, even in adverse conditions, became her act of rebellion. Each brushstroke was a reminder of the freedom and love still vibrating in her heart. However, the battle was far from over. The universe was about to divide around them even more, and the fight had just begun. A new threat would emerge on the horizon, and with it, the choice to fight or merely wait for the future. What would follow would be even more intense, more exciting, and above all, more revealing. Iara's situation became desperate, but her spirit did not break. When she was captured, her mind was filled with thoughts of Rick, about how their love had blossomed amid challenges and adversities. She knew that her art, even in a dark and oppressive place, could become her tool for resistance. Using whatever material she could find, she began to sketch images of her dearest memories. The shared laughter with Rick, the carefree moments they danced under the stars, and the promise of a future together. These illustrations were not only a means of escape but also a way to keep alive the flame of love she felt. Meanwhile, Rick was gathering a group of allies, beings from various races who, like him, believed in equality between species and the right to love freely. They were the ones who had been touched by the new hope that the artifact promised to bring. He found them in a hideout, an old ship surrounded by asteroids that no one dared to explore. The atmosphere was tense, but the determination was palpable. Together, they formed a meticulous plan to rescue Iara. Rick instantly fell in love with the courage and fearlessness of those around him. There were humans, of course, but also Artenians, Krillins, and even some disguised Lyran. With each story he heard, his passion for the cause grew within him. He was now not only fighting for Iara but for a future where love would no longer be treated as a crime. With the plan in mind, they set off toward the territory controlled by the extremist faction that had captured Iara. The group's ship was fast and agile, ideal for crossing the danger-laden space, but they needed to be cautious. The area was monitored by drones and navigators who protected the fortress where Iara was held. Rick narrated his memories with Iara to guide the way. He believed that by entering enemy territory with a heart full of love, they would have a chance. As they approached the fortress, truth subtly smiled at Rick. Love and betrayal coexisted in a precarious balance. He knew that what he was about to do was dangerous, and although there was a probability of failure, hope was stronger. As they infiltrated the facility, the team split into groups, each with a specific mission. Rick's heart thumped with a mixture of fear and expectation. The fortress where Iara was held was a labyrinth of shadows and security. As Rick moved stealthily down the corridors, the weight of his decision became even more crucial. He was not only fighting armed guards, he was battling a system that did not see his love as genuine. Each step took him closer and farther at the same time, a paradox that fueled him. Inside, everything was oppressive. The cold walls were adorned with symbols that represented the ideology of the faction. Despite the fear invading his being, Rick stood firm. Memories of Iara propelled his movements and decisions. He finally found her, isolated in a room with thick walls and a thick glass surrounding her. Iara was in a vulnerable position, but her creative essence still shone. The light in Iara's eyes upon seeing Rick, even choked by the dark environment, was enough to rekindle his determination. Rick touched the glass, a barrier that could not divide what they felt. "We are here to rescue you," he said, his voice strong but gentle. But before they could make any move, alarms blared. Guards were activated and tension surged. Rick knew that missing this opportunity would mean not only Iara's capture but also the destruction of many people's hope. With a quick signal, he called the allies to regroup and face what was to come. Through a well-rehearsed action plan, they managed to open the door, but the guards were lurking, ready to protect the oppressive regime at any cost. A battle broke out, a fusion of energy and emotion that seemed to dance through the space around them. Rick fought with all his strength, determined to protect Iara and all who had joined him. The colors of the battle were as vivid as Iara's art, each blow and movement forged from the will to live and love freely. He saw his friends falling, but they fought with a courage and bravery that fueled him. As the battle raged, Rick and Iara found each other again. "Watch out, Rick," she shouted, pulling him away from an incoming attack. In the blink of an eye, the rescue team showed that love could overcome any obstacle. Together, they fought with faith in each other, forming an unbreakable bond that transcended pain and adversity. The strength of their unity became a collective force, and hope began to resonate among the attackers and defenders, a murmuring that echoed through the walls of the fortress. Just when the battle seemed to be tilting in favor of the resistors, a new figure entered the scene, an extremist faction leader, a Machiavellian being who seemed to know every move the resistance made. He was cunning, manipulative, and had prepared for this moment. With a threatening look, he spun a series of devices that launched shockwaves through the enclosure, causing everyone to become paralyzed in their place. However, Rick would not be disheartened. He remembered how Iara's art was capable of transforming chaos into harmony, and with that idea, he began to move again. "The truth is with us," he exclaimed, his voice cutting through the confusion. "Love cannot be contained. We cannot let tyranny crush us and keep us apart." His words resonated, causing a domino effect. Waves of faith and hope spread among the defenders, who regained their determination. With that strength, the battle began anew. The group united again, and with renewed vigor, they managed to overthrow the authoritarian leader. The fortress, once a prison, began to crumble as a symbol of oppression. Freeing Iara and those linked by love and friendship became a victory not just for individuals but for all. The victory was both sweet and bitter. Freedom was within reach, but the cost had been high. The resistance had forced the faction to retreat, but many friends lost their lives in the clash. Together, they united to honor those who fell, and Iara, though freed, felt the pain of loss and the scars that remained. "We will not let them divide us again," Rick promised, holding Iara's hand. The universe before them was full of uncertainties, but with the promise of a new beginning, they were ready to face whatever came their way. They realized that courage and love were the most powerful weapons they had. As the resistance regrouped, a new mission began to form: to find and stop the faction that still persisted, which was now angrier than ever. Rick and Iara's love would be the beacon guiding not only their lives but the fight of many others. But the question still lingered in the air: what more would the universe reveal to them? That decision to continue, to fight, and to never give up would lead them to even grander adventures. A new horizon of challenges and hopes awaited, a new journey beginning, now marked by a love that would never be limited.
Rick and Iara showed that even in the midst of the strictest laws and deepest prejudices, love can break down barriers and inspire revolution. But imagine how many other stories of struggle, sacrifice, and unlikely connections are waiting to be discovered. Click now and immerse yourself in a new narrative full of emotion and courage.